Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Active Saturday Morning Training. My name is Paige Gimbel. I'm calling in from Northern California. I'm a co-host today, and I'm here to introduce to you Jerry Scrivner. He's a fabulous leader that we have at ACTIVZ, has been involved with ACTIVZ for over 2.5 years now. And today he's going to be presenting the new ACTIVZ project program, Global Connect. He's got a fabulous slideshow. And with that, I'm going to hand over the call to Mr. Jerry Scrivner.
Wow, thank you very much, Paige. I noticed when we launched this project or program a little while ago, it didn't seem like a lot of people jumped right on board. And kind of my thing is that a lot of times when people don't know what the steps are, they don't know what the process is, they just don't do anything. So I was thinking it'd be a good idea just to kind of put something together for you guys to walk you through the steps. I've actually gone through this myself just to see how easy or difficult it is, and it's actually a pretty easy process to get this all set up. So let me go ahead and get started. I'll get my screen shared and get my presentation going. And come on, there we go. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of relaunch, I guess, the program. This is a program that ACTIVZ introduced during the 2020 Connected event on July 25th. And what it does for us is it just basically opens up, something along the lines of over 220 countries that currently ACTIVZ is not fully open for business in. This program is going to is already available for customers in these countries, so we can have people sign up, order product. The great thing is a number of us have been through this where, we're getting products to companies or countries, and we're doing it all ourselves, and it's a very manual, time-consuming process. You can probably ask Paige, who has the most experience in that process. And basically what this does for us is it allows customers in these countries to order products directly from ACTIVZ, and they manage the whole process to their door. We also have the opportunity already to start enrolling distributors in these countries. We're still working out some details around commissions, so that whole thing is coming soon, and we'll definitely let you guys know when that's already in place. But people can start signing up as distributors. I just want to let you know this might run a little long today. There's a number of steps that I want to go through to make sure we're clear, everybody's clear. At the very end, Angie Hawthorne has joined us this morning. Thank you very much, Angie. And Angie and I are going to hang out for 10 or 15 minutes after I'm done with my presentation today to answer any questions, because we want to make sure that people are comfortable with this and they have good information and they're ready to go forward. So that all being said, this slide right here is basically a flyer that was published a little while ago. It's kind of a high level overview of the steps of how to enroll in what we call myusa.com and how to set up your ACTIVZ account. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because then I wouldn't have to do the rest of the presentation. So, so step number one, how do we get customers and distributors in these countries signed up in our program? If you go to your current ACTIVZ portal, there is a newer link in the upper right-hand corner called International. So you're going to send your portal link to your new customer or distributor. They're going to click here on International, and it's going to take them to this page where they're going to begin the registration process at myus.com. Now, why do we go through this process instead of sending somebody directly to myus.com? The reason for that is the more enrollments we have through this process right here, MyUS will offer ACTIVZ larger discounts, which then we can pass on to our customers and distributors in the form of reduced shipping costs. So this is much better process. It's maybe one or two steps more, just a simple click, but the result of this is going to be very beneficial for everybody. So once you click register now, you come to myus.com website and you start your 30-day free trial process by simply clicking this start free trial button. Just be aware that after the first 30 days, there's a $7 a month charge for using the service. There's a number of different options once you sign up, but I'm not going to go into that today. But there's a number of different options you can pay for different levels of service and those kind of things. So signing up at myus.com is a pretty straightforward process. It's something we've probably all done a number of times, different services, different accounts. You're going to go there from the start your 30-day trial button to set up your enter your personal information, enter your address here in the US if you are in the US. So this is for myself. I entered my information, right? If you have somebody in another country, make sure they entered their address here. And then they're going to simply enter their credit card information, and the last page is a simple confirmation page with all the information you've entered. You're going to click submit, and welcome to MyUS. And so we just completed the myus.com enrollment process. Nothing too challenging so far. One thing to note here is on this page, you will be shown an address. This address is the shipping address that we're going to use, your new distributor or customer is going to use when they enroll at ACTIVZ. So the process is the customer is going to order product from ACTIVZ. It's going to be sent to this site right here, which is at Karen's house. No, I'm kidding. This site right here in Florida, which is where MyUS is. And then we're going to manage it from there. But make sure you write down this address. It's also saved in your new account at myus.com. But make sure you have the person write this down. That's it. Like I said, we're done signing up and enrolling with MyUS. The next step is enrolling your new customer or distributor at ACTIVZ. You're going to notice that this is not the ACTIVZ back office. We've actually created a form to make this process a lot more streamlined, a lot easier. And really, honestly, one of the reasons for that is there's a couple bugs still in the back office with some international information, and we don't want people struggling with that. So we just created this form, ask them to walk through a couple simple steps, and then their back office will be created by corporate. So what they're going to do here, this is the link that we're going to send that new person to come to this form. They're going to select whether they want to be a distributor or customer, and make sure you give them your distributor ID so they can enter it right here in Enroller ID. Further down the form, that's just personal information. That address that I pointed out earlier from MyUS this is where that's going to go, is in this form. So when they get asked for their address, they're going to enter the address that they received in their MyUS account, not their local address. One thing to note is the business name and the government ID will only be displayed if the person selects distributor in the previous slide. And also note that the government ID is optional. So this is where like a social security number would go or something along those lines. But it's optional information. We're not requiring that at this point. And then the next step, again, we have the initial order form where they're going to select, pretty similar to what they do today when they enroll. They're going to select their initial order. What do I want to buy today? They're going to select what they want to receive month to month on auto ship. They're going to select the day that they want to have it shipped on, and they're going to sign the form. And then the last step here is to enter their payment information. Another note here is that up here we have this ACTIVZ digital activation kit. That's something else that will only be shown if the person selects to sign up as a distributor on the first page. If they select customer, it just won't be here. So when you're all done with this, you're going to click continue, and you're going to receive an order confirmation. The order confirmation right here shows what they ordered today and what their auto ship is going to be. And they're going to click confirm order if everything is okay. If not, they can go back, make any corrections they need. And then if they click confirm order, they're going to get a thank you. And within 1 to 2 business days of clicking confirm order, they should receive an email welcoming them to ACTIVZ and letting them know that their order has been shipped from ACTIVZ to my US. Excuse me. This email is the same, pretty much very similar to the email we get today when somebody enrolls. It has a link to their account. It has their new distributor customer ID, that kind of information. So it's a simple email letting them know things are set up. So at this point, they have a back office that's been created by corporate from the form that they just completed. So next is, so that right there was the complete enrollment process. That's just how difficult it is. So I think so far for me, it's a pretty simple process, pretty straightforward steps, nothing too major. So what's going to happen next is I've signed up at my US, I've signed up at ACTIVZ, I've ordered my product. The next step is the ACTIVZ is going to take that product and they're going to ship it to my US in Florida, to that address. And once my US receives that package and they have it ready for shipment, they're going to send a notification email to your new distributor or customer saying, hey, we have your stuff, you know, come tell us what to do with it. So now your new person is going to go to their My US account. They're going to log in. And this is what it looks like. So this is actually product that I ordered. I had it shipped from ACTIVZ, had it to Florida, to my US. And so I logged into my account. And just a couple things to point out here to pay attention to. There's a default subtotal and estimated shipping value. Don't worry about that at this point. There's a couple things you need to check is under the edit button on this is your home page. My US calls it My Suite, but it's your home page in your My US account. Click edit and it's going to have a list of the products that you had ordered. So just to verify that the order is correct and that they have everything that you ordered ready to go. The next thing you're going to do is check this box right here for this order line. This is important because if you have multiple orders, you may want to process multiple orders differently. So I might want to send one to Australia and one to Korea and one to the Philippines and one to Ireland. So I may have different order lines here with different orders. So, so I'm going to select this right here. I'm going to check this box here. Basically says I've reviewed my order. And then I'm going to click Create Ship. And when I click Create Ship, it takes me to this page, which I need to go back to. There we go. It takes me to this page. Again, you know, there's some shipping values here, estimated subtotal. Ignore this for right now. This is based on the address that's displayed here, and it's based on settings that you have, some default settings that are set up in your shipping preferences in your account settings. And that will change as you select a different shipping option or a different address. So what to do on this page is make sure you have the correct shipping address for where you want this package to go. Select your shipping preference. There's quite a few different shipping preferences here. Notice that I selected, this is an actual order that I processed again. Notice that I selected budget economy, so 5 to 10 days at $26.99, but my subtotal, well, hold on, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let me, so once everything's okay, I'm gonna come up here and click Update Totals, and I come to this page. So notice my shipping cost is now updated from the $43 on the previous page now to $29.98. That being said, notice that the shipping option I selected is $26.99. What this is by default in your account settings, my US will add $2.99 in insurance. If you don't want that, it's something you can simply just go in and turn off. So my total right now is $29.98. So I'm going to verify that my credit card, I'm going to enter my security code or CVV, whatever, different companies have different names for it. I'm going to make sure my shipping address is the same, and I'm going to click Ship Now. So I apologize for the quality. I had one shot to do that, and it's a little bit blurry. But so you're basically going to get a, hey, we're going to charge your credit card the shipping costs, confirmation message, and then I'm going to click submit. And once I click submit, you've now processed your package in myus.com. You get you go to it. The next page is simply a congratulations, success. You've now processed your package for shipment to this address, this costs, and you will receive an email with another confirmation that says you've processed that package for shipment. You can also, from the email, you have a couple links to kind of manage or take, see what's happening with your package within your MyUS account. So at this point, you've now set up your MyUS account. You've now set up your ACTIVZ account. Your order has gone from ACTIVZ to myus.com, and you've processed your your package, your product for shipment from MyUS to the country of choice. That is the entire process. I know it was kind of fast and furious. I'm glad this is recorded. So that being said, I do have a couple other things that we need, I think are important, that are not necessarily part of the sign up process, but things that we need to be aware of and pay attention to as responsible distributors asking people to use this service. So going back to your myus.com account, this again is your home page when you log in. Notice you have your account settings up here. Down in the lower right-hand corner of that, you're going to have a country guide button. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. And you also have a shipping calculator. So let me start with the account settings. So if I click on my account settings, you're going to open up a member profile. And it's just very similar to any account settings member profile many of us have looked at many times. You're going to have your primary account information. This is where you have your shipping preferences right here. So you can click on that and open up shipping preferences. This is where I was talking about the shipment insurance. So if you opt not to have that, you simply come in here and deselect that here. You have other options like mark items for personal use only. Maybe that is a good option. But just things to be aware of. You can select a default shipment method here. So that when you process a package, you don't have to select it in the order processing. You also have an address book. The really nice thing about the address book, if you have multiple customers, multiple locations, you can have up to 12 addresses in your address book, and then select them from that drop-down menu when you're opting what to do with your package. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in the very beginning is there is no requirement for current ACTIVZ distributors, everybody on this call, to set this account up for yourself. There is no requirement. You do not have to do that. The requirement is the people that need to have this account set up are those in other countries who want to have products shipped to them. However, if you choose to set up an account, it's a great way to get product to family and friends in other countries, right? Maybe to help them out, whatever. But there's no requirement for you and me to set up an account with myus.com. So the next slide is, this question has been asked a lot. What countries do we ship to, right? So here you go. So there's a link, myus.com/countries. And I put this at the end because if I put this at the beginning, everybody would have spent the last 15 minutes looking up what countries we ship to, instead of looking at all the hard work that I did. So anyway, so we have a full list of countries. You can simply go to the drop-down menu or select one of the flags. That'll take you to another page that gives you more detailed information about that country. You can get shipping costs, duties and taxes, restricted items, current exchange rates, those kind of things from this page. So the other thing I wanted to cover was country guide. This is some of that more detailed information I was just talking about. Again, there's a link, myus.com, tool country dash guide. This is a very important thing that we all, as responsible distributors and the people in these countries that are going to be signing up in this program, need to become very familiar with, very aware of. This is nothing that ACTIVZ or MyUS has any control over. This is about duties and taxes within each country. So each country has very different rules, very different policies on what they charge, what their limits are. You see something here called de minimis value for duty. This is for Australia, for example, is $1,000 Australian. So that's based on the value of the packet of whatever you're sending, right? And so if the value of your package is less than this, then generally there's no duties or taxes. But it's something to be aware of, because what we don't want to have happen is somebody orders a package, it gets to Australia, and then all of a sudden the Australian government's asking them for more money and they don't understand why. So this is a great place to become very familiar with. Again, this all varies country by country. So it's really our responsibility to become familiar with this, and the person in that country to become familiar with this. So the very last thing, wow, that went a lot faster than I expected. Because I tell you, it took me a lot longer to write this thing than to go through it. So the very last thing, to let everybody know, there's also a mobile app for myus.com. Paige and I were playing around with it a little bit yesterday. It's pretty nice. It really allows you easy access to processing your packages, to viewing statuses, getting tracking information. I think there was even a part in that app, if I remember correctly, where you could set it up so that you could get information on the incoming package from ACTIVZ. So once you get the shipping information from ACTIVZ, you can enter that in your account in myus.com, and it'll track it from ACTIVZ to MyUS. So that's pretty nice as well. So wow. So that is the extent of my presentation this morning. Like I said, that went a little quicker than I thought. Paige, I think we're ready for questions. I believe I covered everything that I meant to cover. Do we want people just entering them in the chat, or do we want to open up the mics? And I know Angie's here with us if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, if you want to close out screen share, Jerry. Yep. I think that if someone has a question, they can just unmute themselves. That's pretty easy to do. I have a question. Because the first thing, when this program launched, the very first thing I asked is like, what are the duties and taxes, right? How do I find that? And this question is actually to Angie. Angie, when we talked a week or two ago, you had looked like a PDF or something. I'm not quite sure where you got it, but it listed all the duty and taxes by country, or what the minimus was for the duty and taxes by country. And I haven't been able to find that information yet. And I'm just wondering if you can help me better understand how to find that.
Yeah, we do have a PDF of all the countries we ship to in your back office. So it's under the ACTIVZ Global Connect section. And then we are finishing up a PDF that will have duties and taxes for the countries that we feel people are interested in. The duties and taxes won't change, but we will also list shipping prices. So we'll list shipping prices for 1 pound and for 2 pounds, so that you can easily kind of find what the shipping prices are. But that will be finished later next week. It won't include all 220 countries because we know that not every country is going to be of interest. But if there is a country that you are interested in, we can always add it to that sheet. And please note that when we do this, the shipping prices can change, but they don't change very often. So we'll put the date as to when the shipping is valid, but it's always important to go and check what the shipping is for that day that you're shipping your product.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's interesting because on that app, there's actually a shipping calculator. It's super easy to use. So if you're shipping something. So does someone else have a question?
I do.
Oh, Rita.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Angie, for being here. You answered half of my question. You talked about a PDF. Is the company going to make a PDF like of a step-by-step information on this? That we
Yes.
can follow it? Okay, great.
Yes, we're going to take Jerry's information that he put together. He did a fantastic job with his presentation today, and very thorough in all the steps that you need to go through. So we're going to take his information that he put together and create a PDF so that you'll have a step-by-step guide.
That's wonderful, because I'm like a 3-year-old. You got to explain it to me very, very simply.
The other nice thing is that you can provide it to that person in the other country.
Right.
So they have something to walk through, right?
Yeah,
So
and that's going to be key. You can just send the PDF. And you had said maybe add a country. If you wouldn't mind, could you add Nigeria?
Yes, I can
Okay.
add Nigeria.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The other thing we'd like to do with that PDF file is we have a lot of questions that we've captured, but if there's specific things that we can maybe help answer, the other thing I was thinking about including in the setup guide is a frequently asked questions section. So that as a user is going through it or somebody's trying to set up an account, they're going to have questions. And if they can just go to that section in that document, then
that's a very good idea. Yeah, we would love to know what type of questions that you feel customers would have, and we can add an FAQ. I think that's a great idea, Jerry.
And you can send them to me. That's fine.
I have a quick question.
Yep. Good, Ken.
Is this an ACTIVZ thing or is this a national thing? Because I've got a brother stationed in Egypt, and is the shipping faster this way, or is it faster? Is it the same? Is the price the same on the shipping?
I can tell you my experience. So I sent a package to the Philippines. So there's a courier service that's a global courier service. You can ship stuff to the Philippines from anywhere in the world pretty much. And that courier service, if I remember right, I mean, it's a big box and you'd be surprised what you can get in that box. I think there's no weight limit, but anyway, I think it's like $35 for a box, right? But it takes like a month to 2 months to get there.
Right.
So so for me to send this package, through the mail would probably cost $25, $30, maybe somewhere around there. But I did it through here for $29 and I opted to keep the insurance, right? And it's a 5 to 10 day shipment.
Right, and I also spent like $56 to send like the teaching license to a friend of mine in China, plus like a couple little gifts, and the box wasn't even very big.
So my experience, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
So my experience so far is this is cheaper and faster. But even if it was the same price, it's significantly faster, right?
So it's not just
the other thing that I ran into is the courier service that I use would not ship liquids.
Liquids,
like the Amora serum and toner.
Oh, okay.
They would not ship the liquids, whereas this surface is okay with doing that.
And the other great thing about signing up with MyUS, so if you're sending a license or if you're sending something else to your friend in China and you also want to send them products, you can ship all the products to your suite. And once it gets to your MyUS suite, you can combine those and ship it in one package to your friend. So it's your MyUS address is available to use for any retail store in the US or to send them any, I wouldn't say any item because there are restrictions per country, but as long as you know the item can get through customs, you can send different products or different items to your MyUS suite and then combine those packages so that you're only paying one shipping price to send it on to your friends in other countries.
Right. And again, the more people we have using this service and signing up through the portal, the better shipping rates we're going to get.
Yeah, I have a quick question also to Angie. Can you explain a little bit about the NFR status of shipping our products to countries that we're not officially open in? And then how does that work through the customs process?
Yes. Okay. So this is considered an NFR program. So NFR stands for not for resale. So these products, since we're not open within the countries, we don't have a legal entity. And so we're not selling the products within these countries, but we can send it for a not for resale program. And so what that means is that these products are for personal consumption. So when you send people products, you're not going to want to send them a pallet of product. You want to make sure that you're sending them enough product that is considered for personal consumption. The safe rule is personal consumption for 30 to 60 days. Depending on the country, you could look at personal consumption for 30 to 90 days. So I would try to stay under a 90-day personal consumption amount, and that is per product. When it gets to the country, as Jerry mentioned in his presentation, every country has a tax and duty that they apply to products that come into their countries from other countries. So that is not something that we regulate. It's not something we control. It's not something that you can control, but it's the country's regulations. So once the product gets to customs, they will assign a duty or tax depending on the value of the product. And the person that is picking up that package is responsible for paying that in order to receive the product. So most of the countries that I've looked at, as long as the product is under about $200 US, and please go research this. We'll have this on the PDF, but please research this. Don't take this as, well, she said almost every country, because every country is different. But the countries that I looked at, most of them is, if it was under a $200 US value, there wasn't a tax or duty applied. There are countries that have a less value, and there are some countries that apply a duty and a tax on every product that comes through customs. Right. For instance, we were looking at shipping product to Argentina. The product was valued under $200, and there was a duty and tax applied in Argentina. When we looked at Philippines, the amount was about $200, and I believe Australia was about the same. As long as it was under it wasn't Australia, sorry, it was Colombia. As long as it was under about $200, there was no duty or taxes applied. So, but again, this is country by country, and My US has that web page that will give you the information on that. But we're also putting that together for the popular countries.
Thank you, Angie. I just want to make something really clear, is that this is actually like a 3-step process where there's shipping and tax. Well, luckily this is going to Florida, so there's no tax, but there's shipping costs from ACTIVZ to myus.com. And then there's a shipping process that you pay for from myus.com to the country that it's going to. And then once it gets to the country, there's tax and duties that are applied to that shipment from the country to the end user. So there's three costs. And I think it's important as a distributor to make sure that the person that you're talking to that is importing products from ACTIVZ understands those costs, and as close as possible. You can get estimates out there and they're pretty close. So just wanted to share that. Any other questions?
There's one information that I would like to share. So when we have tried the program, shipping the product to different countries, and it's all based on the weight of the product. And I just wanted to give you an example of a weight of some of the products. So the product that I shipped to Argentina, we did ship 4 bottles of each of the products. So 4 bottles of each of the supplements. So we sent 4 Link, 4 Optimum, and 4 Genomics. The weight on that product was 2.1 pounds. So that kind of gives you an idea as to how much the product weighs once it gets to My US. Once your package is at My US, they do go through it and they look to see what is in each of the packages, and they do weigh the product. So we have estimated weights within our system, but the weights that are in our system, we also estimate the weight of the boxes that we put the products in. And since if you order 1 bottle, it comes with a box. If you order 2 bottles, our system calculates it as 2 bottles and 2 boxes, even though you're not really receiving 2 boxes. But we have to assign a weight in our system based per product, not per product and then adding a box on. So so I just wanted to kind of give you an estimate as to how much the product weighs.
I think that the example that I used in the presentation is that was 2 bottles of Link, 2 bottles of Optimin, 2 bottles of Genomics, and in a set of Amora, and it was 1.7 pounds. And that was just under $27 to the Philippines for 5 to 10 days shipping time.
So most of your packages that you'll be shipping into international countries will be, I would say all of them will be under 3 pounds if you stay under the personal consumption rule. But most of them will be between 1 and 2 pounds, so that when you're going to estimate the shipping, that's what you can look at. It's 1 to 2 pounds.
Thank you, Angie and Jerry. Any other questions out there?
I have a question. For the personal shipping or personal product, if there's more than one person in a household, are they going to penalize you for this if they're ordering a set of each product for 3 people in a household?
And that will be based on country. So each country is going to look at that differently. So it's hard to give a straight answer to say no or yes, because each country will look at the personal consumption a little bit differently. So what I would recommend doing is for the first shipment to be a little bit on the safer side, so that you know that the product won't be stuck in customs. And then as we get more information, as people start shipping packages, we'll gather that information and try to give you some feedback as to what we feel is going to work in each of the countries. So it's all a little bit new to us, all of us, and so we're learning along the way, but we will gather information and we'll provide that as we go through this program.
Yeah, and you can also go to a Google, and for the country, just type in, Australia duty and taxes, and it will show you what the duty and tax is, and you can do a real rough estimate for that and see where your price point is for shipping the amount of quantity that you want to ship. So that's just another suggestion.
The other thing I was thinking about for personal consumption, if you have multiple, like 2 people, say a husband and wife in a house, put both their names on the package. And then personal consumption for 2 people. You're sending it for 2 people.
It's a great idea, Jerry. As long as custom agrees with that.
That's right. That's just my opinion.
Any other questions out there? I know it's a new program. There's a lot to learn, but this is an amazing opportunity for us also. And as long as we are educated as distributors on what the actual cost is, and we can, speak truth for the people in the different countries, then you're managing expectations. And that's all we can expect to do.
And be very transparent.
Yeah, transparent and, but if there's any other questions, we'll keep the line open for 5 seconds.
Sure.
If not, we can close out the call.
We need the Jeopardy music.
I had a question. You mentioned that we can download the app. So if we create an account, we're gonna start paying right away the $7 monthly for that account that's gonna link with the app and the phone?
No, so you have a 30-day free trial.
Okay.
And then after the 30 days, your credit card will be billed $7 a month. And like I said, if you go into your account settings, there's some different programs that they offer different options. I know somebody recently said that they had set it up so they had like a $99 a year business account, which gives you different levels of access and different levels of information. But there's some options in there, and I would just go in there and take a look around and maybe see what best fits each person. So
yeah, and there's no, unless you have an account, there's no reason to get the app, because the first thing that you need to do is put your login information for your account in there to use the app. So this is just for, but it's an easy way to log in, to track packages, to get estimated shipping. It's not the full information on the website, but it's an easy tool to use for your standard stuff. So if you get an account.
Right. And again, there's no requirement that we have to set up an account. Some of us have, I did, so I could And so I understood the process because I want to be able to explain it to people. I want to know the process so that when I talk to somebody else about it, I know what I'm talking about and I've been through it. But there's no reason for me to maintain an account necessarily. This is strictly it's a requirement for somebody in another country. They're going to have to set that up. If you want to set up an account, in my case, shipping some stuff to the Philippines and some other countries, in some ways it's a little easier for me to do it than for them. Right. So I'm choosing to do that, but there's no requirement for me to maintain that account.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
You're welcome. Any other questions out there? Okay, well, I think we have done our duty today. And oh, Rita, did you have one more question?
No, I was just getting ready to say great meeting. I appreciate it.
Well, I think we've done our duty today. Jerry, thank you for a fabulous presentation on the ACTIVZ program, Global Connect. And this recording will be available sometime soon, and it will be posted in all the usual places. And thank you for joining Saturday morning training with us. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Gary.
Have a nice
Good to
weekend.
see ya.
Everybody.